Hey, listen, today I'm talking about why most people don't have the audacity to quit. And yes, audacity is absolutely required to do things that most people do not. Why most people do not have the audacity to quit. Um, Yep, we are all set. So check it. If you are here with me live, do me a favor and say hey D. If you're catching the replay, you can say hey D as well, or you can type replay so that I know you came back on the back end and watched this. If you don't know who I am for whatever reason, it doesn't even matter. Super excited that you're here. Um, a little bit about me. I am Danielle, the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach. I help entrepreneurs that are still juggling a 9 to 5 to create their corporate exit strategy so that they can quit with confidence and live the life of their wildest dreams unapologetically. So, again, today I'm going on why most people lack the audacity to quit. And this is something that was coming up for me. And I'm like, okay, it's time. It's time to share. I'm going in about it. So, make sure my volume is turned up. Um, that's what I'm talking about today. If you know somebody that you think needs to hear this, you know that they're showing up in a place or spaces that are one, no longer serving them, two, that they may have outgrown, three, that they are always constantly like complaining about for whatever reason. And you can kind of see the forest for the trees, but for whatever reason, you cannot share this with them. However, you share things with people, like share this with them. It's all good. Definitely share the wealth and it'll come back to you. So in the comments, let me see, where is this streaming? This is streaming in a couple of places. So in the description of the video, wherever you're watching it, there is a link to book a free strategy session. If you know that you've been showing up, especially in like your career, um, in a way that's not as powerful or desirable as you would like, if you know that there's more to life than what you're currently seeing, especially when it comes to your career and how you're spending most of your time throughout the week to make a living, if you know that there is something nagging at you and pulling at you spiritually, probably emotionally too, but you're afraid to lean into it or even see what's possible, or maybe you know what the vision is, you're clear about it, but you lack the confidence to like leap into that thing unapologetically. I want to invite you to book a free strategy session. Again, the link is in the description of the video wherever you're watching it. Click that link, complete the questionnaire. I'll take a look at it, and if I think I got something that will be helpful for you, or if I think I can support you, then we'll have your call, right? And I may invite you to work with me in a deeper capacity based on your strategy session. So no matter what, you'll walk away from the call having strategy, right? But you also may receive an invitation to work with me in a deeper, richer capacity so we can get you unstuck and moving in the direction that your heart and your soul desires. So again, the link is in the description of the video wherever you may be watching it. So here's a couple of reasons why. I think I have five. We'll see if I get through all of them because I'm not trying to be on here all day, but I definitely want to share these things, right? So reason number one why most people lack the audacity to quit is because their fear outweighs their faith. First and foremost, like their fear outweighs their faith. So it's the fear about all of the things that could go wrong, the fear of failure, right? The fear of not having all of the answers, the fear of being judged, fear, right? All of these things bubble up in fear, but like, what about your faith? Like, what is your faith resting in? What, what are you able to lean on or lean into, right? That's different from what you have known up until now, because whatever it is that you've been doing up until now, it's gotten you this far. But now you know that you're in between, kind of like a rock and a hard place, and you're kind of being squeezed, and the discomfort is unsettling. And so you're almost at the point of finding yourself self-soothing and just kind of like band-aiding the discomfort however you can figure it out, as opposed to observing the root issue of what's going on. There's a good chance that there is something bigger and more impactful waiting for you, another purpose assignment, your next purpose assignment. However, you're blind to it because you're not even open to seeing what's possible, right? You feel like you have to stay in this situation, like because this is what the status quo says, this is what generations before you did, this is the only thing that you've known up until this far. However, the lens of fear that you have been looking at your situation and your circumstances through is no longer serving you. Now, we always have choices. We always have options, right? And that's something I tell my clients all the time. I don't care what we're talking about. At the end of the day, you're the CEO of your operation and your business. At the end of the day, you're the CEO of your life, right? Well, I mean, like God, I believe God is the CEO of my life. But at the end of the day, you get to choose, right? He gives us the ability to make decisions, right? He gives us options and we get to choose. And we have to own those decisions. So know that if you have been allowing fear to keep your feet cemented, or feel as though your feet are cemented in places where they're really not, that's because it's a choice that you made. So you can choose to lean into your faith. You can choose to flex your faith muscle. You can choose to lean into possibility. You can choose to create a life that's different for you, even if no one before you in your immediate sphere of influence has done it. You can choose to do that. And so when I say most people lack the audacity to quit, is because fear is something that is innate. And most times, fear is used to keep us safe. But anything overused can do more harm than good. So if we allow our fear to not only keep us safe, but to do more than just that job of keeping us safe, right, when in potentially harm's way, if we allow it to do more than what it's intended to do and to paralyze us and handicap us from living the most amazing, powerful, creative, fulfilled, impactful, purposeful lives, like it's doing a disservice. So yeah, fear is there, and fear is not always a bad thing, but just make sure you are leveraging fear right in the most appropriate ways. All right, I'm off of that one. So the second reason why most people lack the audacity to quit is because they're not clear on their purpose. So you may have heard me talk about purpose a couple of seconds ago, and if you followed me for any length of time, then you know that purpose is my jam. Purpose is the reason why I am on this video right now, wearing my coaching hat as Danielle the coach, why I have my own coaching practice, why I have my own coaching firm, like why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, because I too was in this position where I was feeling unfulfilled, jaded, all of the things, frustrated, just feeling like my life was out of control. Life was controlling me instead of me controlling it. And I had enough. And I knew for me, I said, because I'm a PYT, I said, I'm too young to be feeling like this in life. Like I got so much life ahead of me, I believe, prayerfully, I'll live a long life. Got so much life ahead of me to be feeling like this so soon. And so I decided to do something about it. And a part of that was, well, okay, I want to do something different. Something's got to give, something's got to shift. What can I do? And I don't want to just do just anything just to check a box, or just to in 6 months or even 12 months or a year's time, right? To be feeling the same way that I feel now. I want to do something different that makes an impact. I want to do something different that brings me joy, like that makes my heart smile. I want to do something that leverages my natural God-given talents and abilities. That's what I want to do. And what does that look like for me, right? And doing the work to kind of become self-aware, really get clear about who I was in that season of my life and what potential existed for me and what opportunities were available for me. And so if you don't know your purpose, or if you don't have, we all have a purpose, right? We're not all clued into the purpose. However, we all have one. And there comes a point in time in a lot of our lives where we begin, like we hit that wall, and when in the career space, I call it having a mid-career crisis, right? We hear about midlife crisis, but on the career professional front, I call it the mid-career crisis, right? Everything seems to be going well, and then one day you wake up and it's like, boom, who am I? How did I get here? and what is the quickest way out, because this, I don't like it here anymore. Whatever here is for you, it could be your workspace, it could be who you work for, it could be the culture of your organization could have changed, it could be new leadership, it could be you falling out of love with the work that you actually do. It's no longer doing it for you, right? So there's a myriad of reasons why you can hit that mid-career crisis. You can be in the midst of a mid-career crisis and hit that wall where it's just like, wait a minute, like what's happening, and causing you to reassess. And it's not a bad thing. It's actually a moment of awakening, but it's all about your perspective and how you see it. But for me, hitting that wall, not once, but twice. And the second time I think I hit the hardest, and it probably knocked me on my behind. And that's when I, literally like had to look up and say, wait a minute now, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Not just here in this organization. Why was I given life? Like, what is the purpose of my life? What am I here to do? What impact am I here to have? How am I supposed to go about doing it? So beginning to ask myself all of the necessary questions to uncover my purpose change not only changed the game for me, but it changed my life. And so that's why a lot of people lack the audacity to quit. It's because they don't realize that what their purpose is. Because when you know what your purpose is, and you know that you are here for a reason that's bigger than you constantly aware of your current purpose assignment, and staying tuned to, okay, if I knew what my assignment was, if I know what my assignment is, there's a beginning and an end for an assignment. Then there are more assignments to come. So when you know what your purpose assignment is, your overarching purpose is, then you align with your purpose, and you understand that there are purpose assignments in seasons of your life. And so you're always in tune, lock in step. Your purpose grounds you. Why am I here? Okay, I know this feeling of being unsettled. Okay, maybe I don't have it. I don't have the rhythm down where I'm totally conscious. But I remember last time I started feeling the discomfort and the unfulfillment, and I started looking for my purpose. Like, that's what freed me. Okay, like, what is my purpose? Am I out of alignment with my purpose? Like, let me get back in formation, right? Your purpose is your guide. And so staying lock and step and in alignment with your purpose, like, that's a life hack. I probably can end the video right now, but I'm not, because I got like 3 more things to tell you why most people lack the audacity to quit. So the third thing is, why most people lack the audacity to quit is because of their relationship with risk. Most people are risk averse. They do not want anything to do with risk. And again, this comes back to that fear thing, right? This is another way fear shows up, right? When you are thinking about an opportunity or thinking about making a decision, and it's risky. Sometimes it's risking the security that you've known up until now. Sometimes it's risking relationships. Sometimes it's risking familiarity. Sometimes it's risking your reputation or your brand. Sometimes it's risking what you've spent years developing expertise in. Sometimes it's risking doing something different than what you went to school for 4 to 6 years and getting advanced degrees in. Sometimes it's risking going against the grain. Sometimes it's risking being the first and not having anybody in your corner because they weren't given the vision, so they don't understand it out the gate. Sometimes it's risking getting in that boat and rowing it alone, just you and God. Sometimes it's risking being isolated. Sometimes it's risking, taking a chance and using your savings and your finances, right? Risk. Most people, again, because of that fear thing, most people will lean out when things start getting and feeling risky. And again, understandably so. Why? Because fear is designed to keep us safe. It's like, hey, you might not want to do that. Hey, that's not safe over there, right? And so, but fear doesn't have all the answers. Fear doesn't tell the full story. And so when I bring it back to talking about risk and understanding like people's aversion to risk is why not having an aptitude for risk is why most people lack the audacity to quit. And so what I'm a firm believer in is, I heard this said, I probably could just adopt it now because I've been saying it for years, but the Simmons girls, Angela and Vanessa Simmons, I used to be a fan of their show back in the day of Rent's House or whatever. They were working on building the pastry brand. And of course, there's always in partnership, there's one person that probably is more inclined to take a risk one who probably plays it safer. And that's exactly the dynamic that the Simmons sisters had. And I'll never forget, one of them said they were making some kind of decision, and one was trying to entice the other one to take this opportunity. And one of the sisters said, "Hey, listen, no risk, no reward." And I will never, ever in my life forget the first time I heard it. And it was from them. But that has stuck with me all these years ever since then. But it's so true. How will you ever know what's possible on the other side of doing what might be uncomfortable, what might even be scary, what might be challenging, if you don't take the risk? And so, what I think a lot of people miss as well, especially those that don't have the audacity to quit, is that you don't have to take blind risk. Especially my go getters that find themselves taking up space where I take up space, or leaning into things that I share, and kind of aligning with how I view the world, how I see the world, right? That you get me. We're educated, we're experienced, right? We've got over a decade, maybe close to 2 decades in the game. Like, we've been around the block a couple of times in a number of different ways, on the personal side and on the professional side, right? So we have some wisdom that we can use in making decisions. But when it comes to risk, you don't have to take blind risk. Make a calculated risk, assess it, weigh the pros and cons. It doesn't have to be as scary as one might make it. As soon as you see like risk, or you kind of see your life flash before your eyes, that's that fear thing. Acknowledge it, but okay, but then lean into it. You can, thinking about it is not going to hurt you, right? Think about it. Like, what is it really going to cost you? Even if, and I challenge you to go as far as thinking about what would happen in the worst case scenario. Go there, here. And a lot of times, when you go there, here, and you think about the worst case scenario, it's not life and death. It may be uncomfortable, it may be uneasy, but it's not life and death. It's just not life and death. And so, but most people won't even allow themselves to think about it. Like, that's the chokehold fear has over us at times, right? I don't even want to think about the worst case scenario. Like, no, think about it, because that could be the key to unlocking you feeling stuck, the key to unlocking you feeling unfulfilled, because you've been taking up space in places that no longer serve you out of a false sense of fear. It's not true, it's not real. So, risk and aversion to risk is what keeps most people lacking the audacity to quit. My last one for no, that was number three. Number four, what keeps people, why most people lack the audacity to quit, is because they have taken on other people's opinions as their own, as the gospel according to. They didn't give you your purpose. They didn't put you here. They may have conceived you. They may have carried you. They may have contributed to your DNA, genetic makeup, but they did not give you your purpose. You understand? And it might be somebody that you're related to. It could be somebody that you trust, somebody that you adore. It could be somebody that thinks they know you and have just shared their 2 cents, solicited or unsolicited. But that doesn't mean that they know what's been placed in your heart. That doesn't mean that they know what you have been uniquely designed to do. And in order for you to know what you've been uniquely designed to do, right, you're going to have to get quiet and be conscious about the voices that you listen to and the opinions that you take on as yours. And don't get me wrong, I have a personal board of directors, wouldn't go a day without one. And I do value their opinions, but I know that they are opinions that I use to make informed, calculated decisions, because at the end of the day, whatever I do or don't do is because I chose to do it or not do it, based on however I choose to show up, and based on my willingness to own the outcome or outcomes of the decisions that I ultimately make. Right. So yeah, opinions can be, they're healthy, especially if they are solicited. But when you aren't standing on your own too, and listening to your gut and that voice on the inside that's directing you, and affecting your peace of mind because it's something that you are supposed to, something that you are needed and purpose to do. When it's just like, oh, okay, sis, okay, bro, like, what you gonna do about it? Are you just gonna continue to ignore this, right, and just pass the time, or are you gonna lean into it and go unlock something for somebody else? Because somebody, your purpose is tied to somebody else. Like we're all meant to do life together in a certain way. So other people's opinions can be crippling. Other people's opinions can be paralyzing. Other people's opinions can have you stuck. And I'll give you a perfect example. A couple of years before I quit a six-figure job the second time, I was sharing something about, thinking about, leaving my job to some in a group conversation. And someone in the conversation said, "Oh, we don't quit jobs." And I looked at them like, "Oh, you must not know who I am." And this was already after I had already quit a six-figure job and landed on my feet and lived to tell about it the first time. They knew nothing about that, right? So if I wasn't sure about who I am, if I wasn't sure about the God that I serve, right, and who I get my guidance and my direction from, I could have taken that on as like, oh, well, like, yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe I should not be thinking crazy like that. Leaving a good job after I just bought a house, have a whole mortgage, all of these things, right? And little did they know, a couple of years later, I did exactly what I had been thinking about doing for years. I pieced out unapologetically. And guess what they ended up doing a couple of years after that? The same daggone thing, right? And this is why it pays to be an independent thinker. This is why it pays to take calculated risk. This is why it pays to, yeah, have your personal board of directors, right? But also make sure you have your own filters and that you're not taking on other people's stuff, taking on other people's fear as your own, because it's not, that does not serve you. Not when you're on assignment, not when you have, there's something brewing that we in the world need you to do, and there's people waiting on you, people that are tied to your purpose that are waiting, they're waiting for you to pop out and just avail yourself to serve them in whatever capacity it is that you were uniquely created and designed to serve. So just be cautious of other people's opinions and how much you allow them to seep in and become your own. Last but not least, I've been on one today, y'all. This is a good one. Let me see. I see. Hey y'all, hey, I see y'all in the comments. Last but not least, why most people lack the audacity to quit is um, not willing to make a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. And I say this kind of like begrudgingly because I talking about like sacrifice, right? But for some, it could be viewed as a sacrifice. So I'll go ahead and say it that way. But not wanting to let go of what feels secure right now, not wanting to um, do something different to get a different result, not willing to sacrifice time, not willing to spend time differently, not willing to spend maybe money, right? Not willing to make investments for now, right? That will benefit you later. I'll be honest with you. On this side of my 9 to 5, I have spent more money on professional, personal, and business development than I did when I was making six figures. And it started with me making the investment to enroll in my coaching certification program. And I'm not used to paying for school. I have 2 degrees. I basically went to school for free. Two degrees for free. I'm not used to that. So I'm looking around like, okay, well, when is a scholarship coming through? Like, who's paying for this? Because I don't pay for school. I wanted it bad enough. And had I not been willing to make the investment, the short term sacrifice for the long term gain to set me up to be a certified coach through an ICF credential program, to now be, now have an ICF um, coaching credential, right? That helps to set me apart from the rest of everybody calling themselves a coach, right? It positioned me for ultimately what I wanted and desired, stepping out into this new space where I am living in my purpose. My purpose is to support, motivate, inspire, lead, and empower the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs. Period. And there's a myriad of ways that I can and I do that, but I'm clear on what my purpose is. I know who I am when I'm showing up in certain spaces. You understand? I know when certain assignments are not for me. Why? Because I know what my purpose is. I did the work. and all of that, investing in me and my business and all of the things. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's scary, right? Listen, it's me and God, me, God, and my Fab Five out here, and by God's grace, I'm still here. St- if you had told me 3 years ago when I quit my job that it would take me as long as it has taken to realize and actualize some of the things that have been dreams and visions given to me, I would have kept one foot in that 9 to 5, because that's what a sane person would do, knowing hindsight being 2020. And that, my friends, is why a lot of times we can't see step 100 when we haven't even taken step one. We can't see step 100 when we're only step 10. It's not necessary, because if we knew everything, then we would never leap. We would never lean in. We would never flex our faith muscle. So listen, if you picked up anything I put down today, do me a favor and let me know this was good. This felt good. Um, Listen, let me know if anything resonated with you, or what resonated with you the most in the comments if you haven't already. I can see some comments, some things I can't see, so I'll go back and check my phone and all of the things. If I have been on your pew, like basically stepping on your toes in what I shared today, right? You're one of those people that has lacked the audacity to quit up until now, but you're not you're not supposed to be in that space forever. You know that there is a bigger calling over your life. You know that you got skills to pay the bills. You may not be clear or sure on which ones to use and to leverage to be able to do that, right? You got all of this experience, and it's just like, oh, but yeah, I kind of don't want to do any of this anymore. If you have been kind of like toiling and trying to figure it out by yourself to no avail, listen, you don't have to do this by yourself. Like, we're not meant to do life alone. I got you. I want to invite you to book a free strategy session. Let me tell you what the strategy session is for. This is for my go getters that are looking to do in record time, in the 90 days, 6 months, what you haven't been able to do in the last several months, the last half a year, the last 12 months, right? You want to do in a short amount of time what you haven't been able to do on your own in the last few months or a year, right? You know that something's got to give. You know that something's got to shift. You know that there is that deeper calling over your life. You know there's a bigger, richer impact that you're supposed to make, and you're ready. Even though you're scared, you now are clear. Like, the fear is there to keep you safe, but you know that you can use that fear in a different way. I want to invite you to book a free strategy session. Let's have a conversation. You do not have to figure this out by yourself. Short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. You got a lot going on. You're busy. If you don't do something different, the chances of you getting something different, slim, slim, right? But you get to create your reality. You get to make things pop. You get to be the reason why things shift. You get to live the life of your wildest dreams if you choose to. And know that you staying in spaces and places that no longer serve you, I don't care if it's personal, I don't care if it's professional, you staying in those spaces is a choice. It's a choice. It's a decision. Just like you make the decision that nope, something's got to change, you staying and just dreaming and thinking and being complacent and complaining about it is a decision to stay. I know that might be a hard pill to swallow. I had to swallow it too. Yeah, but I chose to do something about it. And I'm helping people just like you do something about it every single day. So, what I want to do is I want to invite you again to book a free strategy session. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. When we talk on your strategy session, if I feel like there is something that I have that can support you on your journey, to support, motivate, inspire, lead, and empower you, to help you collapse time on your shift, and getting clear on how your gifts can make room for you, independent of your 9 to 5, because you know you're not meant to retire from that place. This call is for you. If you're looking to just shoot the breeze and pick my brain, this call isn't for you. Please do not pass go. Please do not collect $200. This call is not for you. But for my go-getters that are tired of being tired, that are so talented, so creative, so skilled, so versed, and you're just in a season of unsurety. You're in a season of transition, but you don't have clarity, therefore you don't have confidence. This call is for you. Let's talk. Okay. The link is in the description of the video. wherever you're watching it. I'll also say it out loud, www.daniellethecoach.com/apply. Go there, fill out the questionnaire. We'll hop on a call. We'll do some strategy. And who knows what may come out of it. Like, all I gotta say is buckle up. Because when we dive in, if you do the work, your life will never be the same. That's all I got, y'all. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, hit that share button. If you are here with me live, I see some of y'all. Hey, if you caught the replay, let me know. Say replay, say hey D, whatever. I'm gonna come back through and show you some love. Thank you so much for being here, no matter when you watch it, and I'll see you next time.